Alrighty, hello everyone, welcome back to the Cybergamer Dota 2 Pro League. This is a best of three between Nox and Kansei Whips, two of the best teams in Australia. I was about to do quote unquote, but then I realised that'd be a little bit rude. Anyway, thank you of course to the sponsors of this tournament being Soundblast, Cybergamer for hosting it, as well as Dota Talk for very kindly allowing me to cast. And welcome my co-caster, Gangster Dota.
The one and only. I am obliged to join you, and I'm pretty excited because this is actually two teams that I'm pretty familiar with.
I actually know who they are, isn't that unusual for the games I cast?
5 seconds.
But should be pretty good game, honestly, coming up. I haven't seen these guys versus each other since quite a while. At least a couple of months, at least, I suppose, so... Last time I saw them, Kansei Whips were beating Noxious quite reliably, but maybe Noxious have been practicing and are going to bring it back, especially because at the moment Kansei Whips do have a sub. They don't have Slicks, who I think normally plays their mid, so I'm not too sure, is Kyuchi going to be taking over the mid, or what's he going to be doing? You probably wouldn't know because you don't know him.
10 seconds
Well, it kind of depends on what hero CSW do pick. If they do get the Storm Spirit on Corey, then Corey could take it middle, or he could take it to the safe lane, which they usually pick for him. But the last time I believe these two teams played was in the Steel Series Cup in Oceania, and that's where CSW defeated Noxious 2-0 in the losers bracket to knock them out of the tournament. And the bans and picks are already underway as we see Nature's Prophet Lifestealer for CSW and Elder Titan, first pick coming out from Noxious.
Yeah, it looks already like they're drafting incredibly quickly, and they seem to know exactly what they want to go for. Nice first pick of the Elder Titan. I remember back in the olden days, the team that was undefeated was Hans Reborn, who isn't obviously in this game, but Noxious was the first team ever to take a series off Hans Reborn. They did that by picking up the Elder Titan and going for an Elder Titan Kunkka combo and absolutely just destroying Hans Reborn with that. So maybe we're going to be seeing the Kunkka pick up from Noxious Gaming this time and just going for that combo yet again. But with the Timbersaw as well as an Elder Titan, that is a huge amount of physical and magical damage coming out. And that Timbersaw, once that Elder Titan gets up those max levels in his aura, is going to be able to just absolutely destroy everyone. Whether he hits the trees or not, it's going to be doing huge damage.
Both of those heroes do synergize very well with each other, the Elder Titan and Timbersaw, especially with the natural order allowing Timbersaw is already high nuke damage and just quick nuke damage at that. They can just burst down heroes. But the thing is, CSW, they have a Lifestealer, and he has a built-in BKB, which will allow him to ignore the rest of that. And when you pick Nature's Prophet and Lifestealer, I am wondering if Noxious are going to ban out. No, they did not ban out the Wisp, so the Wisp is still a reliable pick here because Nakes can infest inside Nature's Prophet, they can TP in somewhere, and then Wisp can have another person to TP in. So if you thought you were alone, if they have ward vision of you, then you are pretty much dead if you die to a 4-hero gank like that.
Yeah, that's very true, and they're banning out the Storm Spirit, which is kind of interesting because... Actually, no, it's not. Kirei is the one who plays. Every time I get this wrong, it's Kirei who's really good on the Storm Spirit, so that's kind of a little bit of respect ban, though. I've been casting a couple of games recently for the Australian scene, and it seems to be every game Tinker or Storm Spirit is banned out or picked up. So maybe we're going to be seeing a Tinker pick up for Noxious. Possibly K-Phoenix is a very strong Tinker player, but like you were saying, that global strategy coming out from Kansei Whips, if they do decide to pick that Wisp up, that's going to be a 4-man gank, and that would kind of scare them off from taking a Tinker. But K-Phoenix is known for playing one of the strongest Tinkers in Australia, so that could be what they're edging for, and it can't be why Kansei Whips just decided to get that Nature's Prophet first up to kind of scare off any Tinker picks. But, I mean, it looks like Kansei Whips maybe want to go for a little bit more of a mid to late game draft. They're banning out those hardcore pushes with the Pugner as well as the Venomancer, which, you know, typically you do pick up if you want to have that kind of mid to, you know, early mid game dominance, taking down towers and a lot of teamfight potential. So, I mean, that could maybe be what they're considering is, you know, taking up maybe another core for the mid lane, maybe something like a Dragon Knight, though possibly not him, but, you know, something along those lines, and dragging the game a little bit later and getting completely farmed up and just out carrying them.
Yeah, the weakness in the Nature's Prophet first pick is that if the other team drafts a bunch of heavy pushers, then Nature's Prophet, he is basically useless. He can't go and split push because the other team pushes a lot faster and they'll push into their towers. And even if he tries to defend, what can he do? He can just summon Churians in probably about 3 to 4 seconds at max but that's just about it. So they banned out the heroes that are heavy pushers in the
10
Pugna and the
seconds
Venomancer,
to go.
and they are actually picking up a Rubik right here. So Wisp is
5
still available,
seconds.
but Rubik, always a good and reliable support and is good for roaming as well. But a Lion pickup, what do you
Reserve
think of this
time.
Lion pickup coming out from Noxious Gaming?
Well, they absolutely rush picked that. They didn't even look at what Kansei Whips had taken. They just went line. So I think it must be a support line, or it could be a mid ultimately. I mean, mid line used to be the big rage a couple of years ago. But I mean, it looks like Noxious are just going for early game dominance, wanting to win their lanes, and Lion is kind of a hit or miss against Lifestealer, though I think on the whole, given that Lifestealer's rage keeps getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, what is it now, 19-second cooldown with 6-second duration, if that Lifestealer can't get it off fast enough, that is going to be a lot of nukes and disables going onto that Lifestealer, so I don't think Noxious know what they want to take. They're drafting so quickly. So yeah, it looks like Lion will be supporting, but I mean on the whole I think it's not a bad pickup. I think that he should have a pretty good time being able to disable this Lifestealer and really give him a lot of grief. It's just going to depend on how fast his fingers are and how fast the Lifestealer's fingers are.
Another good thing inside the
seconds
Lion
to
pick
go.
that I did not mention before is that his Hex is
5
insta-cast. There's no
seconds.
delay on it. But Lifestealer's Rage is also insta-cast. So like you said, it's whoever gets the faster
Reserve
fingers.
time.
If Lion does have the vision of Nakes and Nakes does not see Lion before he casts anything, then he is in total danger of dying, especially now that they have a Gyrocopter, a very heavy and early damage nuker that can do well in all phases of the game. But Naga Siren,
10
this is a support
seconds to go.
that has fallen off the scene quite a bit. It's not because
5
that she got
seconds.
nerfed or anything. It's just that people generally have not picked Naga Siren for
Dire
reasons
team
being
ban.
as since there's been so many push lineups. She's not that strong in push, and early game push is all revolved around early game. If you have a good push lineup and Naga is not at least level 7, then she can't do anything versus that push, and she's just going to be probably food for the rest of the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, this Naga Siren pick is quite curious because I would have thought they want to get a support with a little bit more nuking damage because at the moment, where is their damage output? They've got the auto attacks from Lifestealer, but like you were saying, 6-second on of, whatchamacallit, Rage, Magic Immunity, and then he's going to have
10
13 seconds with
seconds
nothing,
to
where he's
go.
just going to be running around, probably getting kited a fair bit because they have high
5
mobility heroes.
seconds.
Gyrocopter normally goes for those phase boots. Lion, he's probably the least mobile, but he's not a terrible pick, and Alchemist pick up last. I mean, where is their damage? They've got okay negative armor, but they've got no nuking damage, so what are they going to do against this Timbersaw? Who have they got to kill this Timbersaw? I think this Timbersaw for Noxious is just going to go absolutely insane with power. I mean, do you see anything they can do to really kill the Timbersaw at the moment?
I mean, if Timbersaw is sent to the off lane, the long lane, then if they do get like a smoke gank around, but the only problem with their lineup is they have to get in real close to that Timbersaw in order to do any sort of disables on him to stop him from Timber chaining away. And with the Alchemist pickup, that just makes Timbersaw even better in this game because Alchemist is another hero that has to run in close, and I believe that his stun range is the furthest casting spell out of all 3 of their heroes of the disables. And yes, it is. And also, it's a projectile stun, so it takes time to get there, so it's not an instant disable such as a Rubik Lift. So it's really going to depend on the rest of the heroes and how they play out inside of this game.
Yeah, we'll go through the players quickly, just before the game starts up. But on the side of Kansei Whips, we have got Godot being played. Godot playing the Nature's Prophet. Kiichi is going to be playing the Rubik. Fantasy is going to be on the Naga Siren. Kirei is going to be playing that mid Alchemist, it looks like, and the Muffin Man is going to be on the carry Lifestealer.
And on the side of Noxious, we're going to have Captain Toons is going to head middle with that Elder Titan. Up top, we're going to have Moop6 handling our support line. He's got sentries, he's got smoke, and so he's probably going to look to gank early. And also joining him will be K-Phoenix up on that Gyrocopter. Boots first, so they're probably going to look for an early kill on that Nature's Prophet since they probably predict that it's going to be a Nature's Prophet up here. And on the bottom lane, we're going to have PPX on support Windrunner, just supporting that Timbersaw being played by Jan.
Yeah, and I mean,
Battle will
first,
commence in
actually, so I'll change that.
30
Because Bishop
seconds.
at my announcer. Alright. I really am going to give the advantage to Noxious just for this lineup. I think Kansei Whips can make it to that kind of mid to late game phase, they will have a very strong pushing lineup. If the Nagasarian does decide to go for that kind of early Midas, like we have been seeing supports picking up that early Midas and then rotating it kind of mid-game utility type heroes. If Fantasy does pick up that early Midas, I can imagine that Kansai Wits will have a very, very strong late game lineup, but I mean, the nuking damage coming out from Noxious in the early game is insane. Oh, actually, did he just get chucked up? PPX just got chucked up there on on that cliff. Oh, that poor guy. He can't even afford a TP scroll yet, so he's just going to be sitting there.
And what's even worse is that Flying Courier cannot be bought until 3 minutes into the game, so she's just going to stand there for about 3 minutes. So great start for CSW to start off the game. It looks like they want to go for a gank on middle of Toons, and actually Toons got a really good block, and the Creep Wave is on his side of the hill, so it's going to be quite a while before they can decide to gank that Elder Titan on middle lane. And this is exactly what CSW need to do. They both have supports that are very level dependent, but if these ganks fail and they stay level 1 for a very long time and they're not gaining experience compared to the other supports, Lion, yeah, sure, he needs experience, but his secondary support on Windrunner, actually she's not getting any experience up there at all, so kind of almost a disastrous start, but both of their support, at least one of their support is gaining EXP. Lions is already up to level 2, and yeah, they're just going to rotate back down to the bottom lane, wasting a lot of time for precious experience coming for CSW.
Yeah, and I do like the dual lanes that Noxious are running because, like you said, they've got level dependent supports. Windrunner wants to get levels, Lion definitely wants to get levels. The faster he hits level 6, the better. And running those dual lanes is more likely to get them farm and levels, and also more likely to kind of get them kills and really snowball their heroes forward. And this failed gank on the mid lane is absolutely terrible because Jan now is level 3. Actually, he just used up his last bit of mana and he might be going down for the first blood now. I know it looks like they're going to be pulling instead of trying to kill him, but I mean, still at the same time. I mean, Jan is level 3, Godot is just hitting level 3 as well, but actually, K Phoenix, what is he doing?
Okay, Phoenix is actually trapped up here on the top lane by Godot. I don't know what he was doing. He was probably trying to get some treants, but he is going to give up the first blood to Godot on that Nature's Prophet. So kind of a disastrous start for Noxious to start, having a Windrunner trapped uphill without any escape. She finally bought a TP. She is now down on the bottom lane, being an annoyance. But Godot has first blood, and he is well on his way to a Hand of Midas real soon.
That was, I don't even know, I was kind of watching K Phoenix out of the corner of my eye there, and he was just like, you know what, I'm going to walk into the trees here, and then Godot was like, okay, thanks. That was just crazy. But yeah, a really nice start for Kansai Whips. Trapping that Windrunner from the tree means she's going to be out-leveled at the moment. I mean, she's still level 1 at 3 minutes into the game. Of course, the supports from Kansai Whips are also level 1, but I mean, that first blood on the carry by the solo off-lane Nature's Prophet, that is the absolute opposite thing that they wanted to do. They would have wanted to kill him off, which I think is why K Phoenix was diving so deeply, but he didn't have the support from the Lion because Lion was still pulling.
Yeah, and I noticed at that last second, Godot had some pretty nice treant micro and probably traps K Phoenix, who probably isolated him, but did not see Godot's mana pool, so he couldn't tell if he had mana to summon treants, and he did block him in with those treants as well. So just probably great overall treant micro coming from Godot. Meanwhile, we might have some action on the bottom lane. No? They're just gonna just say hi to each other, just pulling some creeps, don't mind me.
Yeah, I think they're just contending this pull a little bit. They do want to get as much experience as possible. Actually,
Experience on the bottom lane. PPX is going to get initiated on net, is going to go off, but actually Lifestealer is going to get killed off as he takes a lot of damage coming from the Timbersaw, but Rubik is also going to take a fall, and it is a 2-for-1 exchange going the way of Noxious Gaming, so they have recovered very nicely on that bottom lane. They did not expect that much damage coming off that Timbersaw, and Windrunner, she is a very healthy support at level 3.5 right now. Jan is already close to level 5, and this lane is a disaster now for CSW.
Well, I really think they should have spent a little bit more time just trying to shut down Jan on the bot lane, trying to keep him level 1 for as long as possible, because the more levels you let Timbersaw get, the better. Actually,
we might have some more action over here. Correa actually picked up the double damage room. He is charging up the stun and lands off a very huge stun up onto PPX. PPX is going to take a fall, but now Toons is in danger as he runs into the rest of the enemy team. He is also going to take a fall, so 2 quick kills for Kansai Whips, and This is just a very back and forth game, and meanwhile Jan gets picked off. He has no mana, but he does have magic stick charges to try and get away. But the thing is, he is surrounded by 4 heroes. He has a poor man shield, so he is taking a lot of damage. He needs to activate magic stick, trying to get away in the last second. No, he will not be able to. Rubik picks him up. He is in danger. Meanwhile, Alchemist kills offline in the middle lane, but Jan is not going to go down. He is taking a lot of damage, but he is still running away from 4 heroes of the side of Kansei Whips. He is going to self up. Is he really going to get out of this? This is just insane. Insane. And Jan, oh, great tree and Michael coming from Godot. The open wounds is going to go up onto that Timbersaw, but can they bring him down? They're using all 5 heroes to try to bring down this Timbersaw. This annoying Timbersaw. He finally does go down, but Timbersaw, he is only down for 16 seconds, and it took well over a minute and a half to try and kill him off and use the time of 5 other heroes that gave space to heroes like Gyrocopter at the top lane, mid lane to the Elder Titan.
Well,
Man.
That's exactly what I meant in the lineup. What are they going to do against this Timbersaw? They're full of physical damage, but Timbersaw doesn't carry 8. 8 reactive armor shot stacks up. That means 8 regeneration per second plus the tangos he was eating, plus 8 armor, which is huge in the early game. And I mean, they just can't handle with the Timbersaw. They haven't got any nuking power. All they've really got is Nature's Prophet Ultimate and the Fade Ball. And Rubik's only level 3, so that does virtually nothing. Everything else they have is physical damage, and Timbersaw just laughs at that. So, I mean, that just shows the power of picking up a Timbersaw in a situation like that, and the kind of weakness in Kansei Whip's draft in that they have no nuking damage to kind of take that Timbersaw down. So, I really think that Jan is going to have an absolute field day this game. He's going to have no problems at all just running around, getting picks up on everyone. And now, I mean, like you were saying, K Phoenix is up to almost 40 CS at 6 minutes into the game. He's got his phase boots, and even though he died once, his farm is just catching up tremendously. And Godot has actually been forced to rotate into the jungle to try and farm up that Midas.
And the one thing that I noticed when Jan was getting initiated on is he has a poor man shield, so he was probably he blocked probably a total of 300 hero damage coming from the rest of their heroes, so he blocked a lot of damage, and this is a very smart pickup, a cheap, cost-effective IM early game that really helped him survive all the nuking damage. Actually, PPX is going to get initiated on, and Snare is going to go on him. Rubik Lift is going to go up. Furion ult does bounce in. Godot does a nice sprout, but a quick tango either way, and PPX will be able to get out of this. Meanwhile, Timbersaw, he is going to run back into the lanes, and Muffin Man thought about going on to him, but he remembers what happened last time and figures, well, I better not spend my mana on this guy.
Yeah, they can't kill Timbersaw basically. But of course, at the same time, Muffin Man actually is farming pretty badly. If you look at his items, he's got a Helm of Iron Will, which I feel like he needed the I guess he felt like he needed the regeneration in lane to kind of survive the nuking damage coming from the Timbersaw. But that means no phase boots, and phase boots is kind of that crucial item that you want to get up as fast as possible on that life stealer, so he can really go full aggro and open wound someone and chase them down. But of course, at the same time, who is he going to chase down on this team? He could maybe kill off Elder Titan if he had support from allies, but he has to watch out because of course they've got the natural order, so the lifestealer is going to be the one who's taking a lot of damage if Elder Titan does turn around. Windrunner's got Windrun, Timbersaw's got Timber Chain, and I guess K Phoenix is the other one he could target. And it looks like K Phoenix maybe is going for a Midas pickup. He hasn't bought any items yet, and he could go for those face bits if he wanted to, so maybe he is going for a Midas just to secure the late game for them, since they do have a kind of, he goes for Midas. They do have a very kind of 4 protect 1 lineup, I suppose, with those 4 nuking heroes coming out from the Elder Titan, the Lion, the Windrunner, and the Timbersaw. They don't need that Gyro to particularly carry with physical damage too early into the game.
Meanwhile, I see Kansei Whips, yeah, they are TPing to the top lane right now, but they have 5 heroes centered around their entire jungle, and that gave just plenty of room for Toons, and once again, for Moop6 and K Phoenix to just push up the top lane, and they didn't really achieve anything down on the bottom jungle. Sure, they got levels on their supports. Meanwhile, let me check the levels on their supports. Actually, initiation on the top lane. Gyro ulti is going to go off, and K Phoenix is going to take a fall as they TP. All 5 of them are actually on the top lane. Toons is going to TP in, but he's in a lot of danger. He eats an Alchemist stun, but a great Windrunner Shackle Shot is going to keep him alive semi, but Toons is also going to go down. Moop6 is in danger. He doesn't have TP to TP out. He is just going to go into the corner and cry as he gets beaten to death by the rest of their team. But here comes Timbersaw. Another great Windrunner Shackle is going to get the Rubik. Meanwhile, Alchemist is going to charge up another stun. He wants the Windrunner. Windrunner is actually going into a juke spot. Will he be able to get it? Yes, he will. Windrunner is going to go down. It is 10-3 in favor of Kansei Whips, unfortunately. The Timbersaw did not have much mana to come into that fight, so that's why they did not get kills, and it is 3-1 in favor of Kansei Whips right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Kansei Whips are actually doing pretty good. I mean, if you look at the CS, Noxious really pulling ahead in terms of farm, but the kills are really what keeping Kansei Whips in the game at the moment. They've got a 7-kill lead, which is pretty significant this early into the game, but of course, K-Phoenix now has got that Midas up. I can imagine they're going to start stacking some of this camp so we can flash farm quite easily, and Jan has finally got those mana boots up, so his pushing power, not pushing power, sorry, killing power is going to come really into effect at this point, so though Kansei Whips have got a lead at the moment in terms of kills, I think that I can imagine that Noxious are going to be able to take this back quite quickly when it comes into that kind of mid-game at around about 2 to 5 minutes, I would say.
And right now, Correa is an absolute monster. He has about 2k gold, and I'm wondering if he's going to go for Blink Dagger first on that Alchemist. The reason why I say Blink Dagger, apart from other items, is that he still needs a way of getting inside their enemy team, and they don't want to just use Sleep because it has such a low AoE and then such a high cooldown. They don't want to use it offensively, so they will probably want to use Naga Sleep defensively, and Correa probably picks up a Blink Dagger. No, he's actually going to go for Mechanism. The Mechanism I agree with also early on, and he's like, oh, he's actually charging up the stun in the middle lane, and he's just going to stun himself. You know, just don't mind me mixing my chemicals.
Yeah, he couldn't quite catch anyone. Oh, but it looks like they will be going for a push on the mid lane now. So Godot's got up his phase boots, he's got up a casual Sage's Mask, so could be building into an urn or a medallion if they want to go for a fast Roshan. And it is kind of the point of the game where they probably want to take some towers down and get a little bit more map advantage. But I think Nox just wanted to bend this. PPX coming in to help out, just throwing out some power shots. And Kirei has got that mech, but I mean the big problem with the Alchemist with an early mech is his mana pool is very, very low. And of course a mech is a great item. I'm a firm advocate of getting a fast mech up on any hero, but if he throws out, you know, an acid spray, a stun, even with his ultimate on, he's not going to have enough mana pool really to keep, you know, to keep the mech up as well as keeping out all his spells, which have all got quite low cooldown. So he might be forced to picking up, you know, maybe something like a Force Staff just to increase his mana pool a little bit more so he can keep the spamming out. Which, I mean, is similar to a Blink Dagger, but it does give that extra, you know, ability to help out your teams if you are going for a kind of utility Alchemist. As well as, you know, just giving that mana pool. And it's an urn picked up by Godot just then. So he's going to be going full gank style.
Yeah, and I semi-agree with that theory. The only thing is, Alchemist has a pretty decent mana regeneration when his ultimate is up, because this Alchemist is level 11. How is he level 11 12 minutes in? He is the highest level in the game, surpassing the highest level on Noxious by at least 2 levels. So regeneration on Chemical Rays is at least 10, and that's like having a free Void Stone. So I feel like Alchemist should be fine, and Mech is a decent pickup right here, but the thing I'm worried about is how are they going to get Nyx into these fights without using Sleep? Nyx will have to jump inside someone, and Furion, you want him TPing into their entire team because he has about 800 HP and he'll just die instantly.
Well, it might just be forced to walk in. It looks like he's going for an armlet rush, so I mean maybe that's fine. Actually on bot lane we might see a bit of an engagement.
Actually, Correa is going to go in onto Jan. He eats a full-length duration stun, and Jan, it does not matter how much armor, how much defense that you have, you are going to go down if you eat a full-length stun and you have a Nyx that's just eating you out right now. Are they going to dive on this? No, PPX is going to be able to get away, and they're going to get a tier 1 tower for this. So CSW, despite their early advantage going very awry, they've gotten kills, they've gotten towers, and oh, never mind, that's not a player that disconnected. But it looks like they can't defend the second tower, so they're going to go for the top tower push. And right now, K-Phoenix, what's he bringing out to him on the courier? It's an Ogre Club, so it's a BKB rush or K-Phoenix, and I'm semi-cringing at this first item build. Sure that they have a lot of damage, and if he gets stunned, yes, and he is dead immediately, but the only thing is, if Naga uses her ensnare at the right time, then what is he exactly going to do? He's exactly just going to eat all of Nyx's physical damage, and Alchemist, he can, if he stuns before BKB, then the physical damage will still deal, despite the BKB. It won't stun him, but it'll still deal the physical damage. So I semi-agree with this, but I would like to see something like drums coming out from him. Oh, we see actually Smoke Gank on the top lane. Is K-Phoenix going to be drawn out? No, he's not. He's going to go farm back into his lane. Correa and Kyuchi, they're looking for blood, and they might find it very soon. Actually, they spot a very tasty Naga Siren, but they're not in range, and they're actually going to circle back onto the top lane. Is K-Phoenix in danger? No, he goes back just in time. Just that sixth sense from K-Phoenix, knowing that where are their heroes.
And in mid lane, you were watching top, but Naga Siren used Song of the Siren just to win the dewarding wars, which is a little bit of cuteness. With the gyrocopter items, I agree BKB isn't the best item choice, but it is a kind of tough situation with what is he going to get instead. I mean, it might be the sort of game where you want to pick up something like a Shadow Blade, and while normally I don't like the Shadow Blade, it would give him a little bit of increased mobility, and same with the drums, but already the Elder Titan is going for those drums, and he has in fact farmed them up, so I mean, again, maybe a 4-staff. We did see 4-staff MVP for the MLG, so that's another option, but it looks like he's going for the BKB, and I suppose it will help out with maybe the Ruby Lift as well, some of the nuking damage coming out from the Nature's Prophet, but yeah, on the whole, I feel like maybe some more damage items or just a plain mobility item would help out more. But also, I feel like Noxious really aren't playing this lineup they've got particularly, well, I don't want to say particularly well, but I feel like they're making a lot of mistakes that, they shouldn't be, because they've got such a strong early game lineup. I mean, with Toons, you know, being able to throw out that Astral Spirit and get off an ultimate, with Moves who's level 6 now, he should be getting, you know, at least a pick off or something like that, but they're just not finding anything actually in top lane with engagement.
Top lane, Correa is actually going to engage in. Gyrocopter ulti is going to hit too, and they're going to take a lot of damage. Naga Siren doesn't even get to see the day of light before she TPs in. Alchemist is also going to go down. 2 quick kills coming from Noxious, but here comes Nyx. He is eating away. Elder Titan does take a quick fall. K-Phoenix is trying to TP out. Will he be able to? No, he won't. Nature's Prophet does get a kill on him. 2-for-2 trade going the way of both teams, but CSW gained very much the better trade of that, killing off their solo mid and the carry player, and now they're going to go for a tier 1 push.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, and there was still
Middle tower is
no
under attack.
entry of the fight by Jan or Moves there. They were just sitting mid lane waiting for a pick off, and I mean, they have got aggressive wars, but they didn't seem to pick that there was going to be a gank on top lane, and another fight won by CSW just because they have more heroes in the fights. It's purely coming down to a numbers issue, where Noxious have got the better team fight, I would say. I think they've got a lot more nuking damage in the early game, but they're not all there for team fights. It always seems to be 2v3 or 3v4 or, you know, 3v5 as it was in that situation. That's not how you want to be taking your fights when you've got the better team fight lineup. You want to be having everyone there and then rotate into a tower push. But at the moment they've got no towers down. Top tower's close to falling, mid tower's half health, and bot tower's close to falling, but they haven't committed to pushing any of these towers down. And maybe they're waiting for Jan to pick up that mech. He's just got the buckler at the moment, and that could be what they're waiting for. Oh, actually, he's got the headdress as well, so he just needs a recipe, so he's going to have that up in 10 gold. So maybe that's what they're waiting for, but I think that it's kind of getting to the point where maybe their early game lineup isn't going to be as effective, because Lifesteal is getting quite fat. He's got his armlet and face bits up, and Nature's Prophet already got a Shadow Blade and looks like he's going for Necronomicon, so he's going to start split pushing really aggressively, and they don't have a lineup capable of dealing with the split push effectively well, efficiently. Very well. I don't know. 3 sentences at once coming out there, but this game is getting harder and harder for Noxious just because they're kind of, I feel like they're not really playing the kind of lineup they went for exactly right. Too many fights they're thinking that they aren't winning.
And I agree with that, but at the same time, Noxious do have a pretty good mid-game lineup. The Lion, he has reached level 6 now, so he will use that Finger of Death real soon, so he can quickly burst down anyone that they do want to pick off, and it looks like they're sick of this. They want to go down the middle lane as 5, they want to start a team fight, but it's all going to come down to the positioning. Meanwhile, Correa is at top lane, Firion's at top lane, so this is the right time to push, but actually Naga Siren just gets absolutely blasted by that Timber Saw, and they want more. Kyuchi is showed himself with low armor, low HP, I'm sorry, and it looks like he is going to take a fall. Great Windrunner Shackle, and I can't even speak right now, I said great, but tier 1 tower mid does take a fall, but at the same time, bottom lane pushing out for CSW, top lane pushing out for CSW, but they don't care. Noxious is just going to push down the tier 2 because what can they really do to defend it?
Well, it looks like they're going to be taking down a bit of damage. Actually, K-Phoenix just pops his BKB. That was his 10-second BKB now, just gone. I think that must have been a misclick. I think he must have meant to press phase boots, maybe. But either way, 10-second BKB now gone, and it looks like Muffman's actually going to be going for a Basher pickup as his next item, which I can definitely agree with. He doesn't really need to buy any mobility items because I think there's probably going to be Blink Dagger coming up on this Alchemist, like you were saying, so he can just jump inside the Alchemist for his mobility. And with that Basher now, that BKB pickup by the Gyrocopter is just going to get absolutely destroyed, and given the gyrocopter is the main physical DPS for the side of Noxious, if they can kind of keep him locked down, it's going to give them a huge advantage in team fights, because all they're going to be relying on is magical. And if Alchemist does get up maybe he's actually gone for a Vanguard. I didn't notice that. So a Vanguard pick up on Alchemist. What do you think of that?
Well, it does help out on his HP problems early on, but Vanguard, this late, I sort of don't agree with it because it loses its effectiveness as it would if you pick up in the early game, but it's still effective. It provides HP, it provides damage block, and it looks like they're going to go for a smoke gank, and they might run into K-Phoenix if K-Phoenix, his BKB charge is not up yet. This is total danger, but no, they're going to find Move 6 over here, and he is going to get blasted immediately down. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter, because he get a two-man ulti off, and Lion is going to actually kill off the Rubik, finger him to death, and Lion is going to take a fall in the meantime. Naga Siren Sleep does go off, and actually, Lifestealer does take a quick fall to that Timbersaw. Karay is being chased by that rocket into the middle lane, but they're not going to do anything about it. He has a haste rune, but all the while, in the meantime, Godot is just being a cheeky little jerk, pushing off this top lane, and he might be able to get it too. There's nothing he's going to do about it, but Toons does finally scare him off. But actually, Karay is going to charge in from the back lines. That haste rune, Alchemist is not going to go back to base. He is going to go gank with that haste rune, and he is going to find a kill on that Elder Titan.
So, good pickoffs across the map for Can't See Whips. And Noxious are winning a couple of team fights. I mean, the really big thing actually on bot lane, Karay getting initiated on.
Karay getting initiated on, great shackle shot, and he activates the mech and activates the regen. The regen is kicking in. He is having so much regen. He's actually going to live through this. He's going to turn around onto K-Phoenix. He has to activate his BKB, but that's not going to help you kill him. PPX is going to take a fall. Karay is still shackled to the tree, but he has to run. Will he be able to run? Karay, he is charging up a stun in about 2 seconds. He is trying to dodge into the fog of the trees, but he lets off a quick stun actually. I don't know if this is the right call, but no, open wounds is up. K-Phoenix should take a fall right here. 2 heroes down, and that Vanguard just paid off right there. Having the damage block, having the HP at that time, just activating his ult, his mechanism, providing the armor, and they could not bring him down. So what a pickup, and what a turnaround from CSW.
Yeah, that was a fantastic counter gank coming out from them, and good rotations from the supports, and well, basically everyone. And there was no TPs coming out from Noxious. I mean, Timbersaw didn't even have a TP. I checked his inventory. I think Moops was on cooldown, and Elder Titan just didn't TP for whatever reason. And I mean, ultimately, when your carry gets chased from down here up to here, it feels like someone should help out. I mean, maybe that's just me, but they decided that it wasn't worth, or maybe they just didn't think it was that big of a risk. But Noxious really, I suppose, getting taken advantage of at that point. Can't say Whip's just destroying them at the tier 2 tower, and Noxious unable to defend. So a bit of a risky situation for them at the moment. If we look at the gold graph, it's not that big of a difference, only about 4,000, and same with experience. But when you consider that Noxious, I feel like they should be winning this early game phase, and they're not, it does put it in a little bit more of a worrying light, because once this I mean, this Muffin Man's getting fat enough to kind of out-carry the Gyrocopter at this point with that Armlet and Basher. If he can get close, that Gyrocopter will be taking a lot of damage. And same with the Alchemist, with that Vanguard now, and he's picked up a Blink Dagger finally. So he's just going to be able to blink in and, you know, stun right on K-Phoenix's face and really just destroy him. And that BKB charges, they're getting lower and lower, down to 8 seconds now. And soon enough, if he keeps using them at this rate, he's going to be down to 4 seconds by around about 20-30 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, and that's the weakness of picking up BKB first on the carry. Sure, you want it on your carry because you don't want him to die in the fights, but at the same time, the BKB charges are going to be used pretty quick, especially the more you fight. And actually, Furion's going to TP into the bomb. Is Nake's going to hide inside of him? Are we going to see a gank? And they do spot it. Windrunner does spot it out with the power shot, but Nyx crawls inside him anyway. And meanwhile, Godot, he has a Necronomic in level 3 already. But meanwhile, top lane, Karay is probably going to get picked off. No, and he actually has a Blink Dagger to go along with his Vanguard. This guy is freaking rich. He is 5-1-9, just playing an absolute great game with his Alchemist. But what can Noxious do to respond to this? We of course can see what we saw at the MLG Columbus, Havas Gyrocopter, and just go, hey rapiers, I'm just going to just buy you over and over until I can possibly have no more money. Actually, Karay is going to run into their entire team. Is he going to engage on them? Yes, he does see K-Phoenix actually blinks the wrong way. He is actually going to stun himself, but they're actually lying. They do not know where he is. They do not know where this Blink Dagger, but no, Elder Titan does find him out right now, and they're going to pursue after him. Hex is going to go off, and he is alone right now. He should not be able to escape from this. Shackle Shot is going to go off, and Correa is going to take a lot of damage, and they didn't even use Finger of Death. That was all the damage coming out from Timbersaw.
Yeah, that was a little bit of insanity right there, and Timbersaw... Well, I mean, Alchemist going really, really deep. I mean, I'm not sure why he was trying to initiate on K Phoenix or Angle, but if he had got a pick off then, that would have been perfect. But unfortunately, there were 5 heroes there kind of standing around K Phoenix and defending it. And like you were saying, I feel like at this point, given that they had kind of early game heroes and they didn't quite push the advantage very much, and they are all going for 4 stuff now, it looks like they've got
Radiant's
3
top
4
tower
stuff,
has
start
been
going for a
denied.
4th one on the line as well. So it looks like they are just going to be putting all their stocks in K Phoenix and possibly stacking the cans for him. The Ancients have been stacked a little bit, and I think basically just relying on him to carry the game for them, which they've kind of backed themselves into a corner where they have to do that, because I can't imagine what else they're going to do once his lifesteal gets too fat, or once his Alchemist and Nature's Prophet especially gets fat. But at the same time, first thing in Nature's Prophet, he is constantly going to be pushing all the side lanes. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for something like a Desolator next, just to keep up the split push, because in teamfights I mean, a Hex would be lovely because they don't have very much lockdown, but at the same time, they haven't been needing a Hex up until now, and given that they have got a decent lead, I would say. In Spirits and Gold isn't too much, but in kills they definitely have got a lead. He might be better if he does just go for that kind of split push and, you know, damage type build.
And the difference between if Gyrocopter does wind up getting 6 Lotta and getting like a couple of Divine Rapiers, the only thing that's a problem for him is that he has to deal with a natural Abyssal Blade carrier in the Muffin Man. He already has his Gold Basher up. He has 2200 gold, probably going for that Abyssal. And if he does get Abyssal and he is not being able to attack throughout the usage of his flat cannon and through all the damage that he could possibly potentially do, then it is going to be really hard for Noxious to take a fight and win it. But they're all going to have to bank on it, and that Gyrocopter, he does have a lot of damage once he's 6-slotted, but he does have a lot of HP to chew through in the Nakes and in the form of Correa, and looks like they're going to go for a gank. Ray is actually going to charge up a stun right now. Meanwhile, mid-tier 1, is going to be pushed, but Curie is just going to stun himself. Is there going to be action going on? Shackle Shot barely missing on Godot, and they are going to back off for now, probably waiting on the rest of their teammates. And no, it's a Muffin Man. He's just saying, I want to farm. I want to farm. I want to get my Abyssal Blade before I start fighting again.
Yeah, when he does have that displayed up, it's really going to be a game-changing item on him. So I think that's going to be more use than a Hex if Nature's Prophet does decide to go for one. Just being able to Abyssal right onto that Gyrocopter's head is going to be just crucial. It looks like Gyrocopter's going for a Butterfly now, so I think that's honestly a pretty smart choice. Usually I'm not a big fan of the Butterfly pickup, but given that they are primarily physical damage, there's not much magical damage
actually,
coming up.
bottom lane, Toons is going to get initiated on, and he does get a first hit bash. Are you kidding me on there? But Alchemist is not deciding to go in. He is worried about the TP reaction that is going to come if they do dive. So I think a semi-smart decision coming from CSW. Sure, they could have killed the Elder Titan, but they didn't want to risk in having 2 other heroes die because they just want to kill an Elder Titan. And meanwhile, tier 1 tower does go down in the middle lane, so CSW has a big advantage in map control. All the tier 1 and tier 2 from the top lane is gone. That means their jungle is really exposed to these ganks and is not as safe anymore. And if this tier 2 tower is lost on the mid lane, then that means that CSW also have control of Roshan.
At the moment, CSW have got control over Roshan, I would say, just because of the kind of map control they've got. You know, like you said, the wards are really good, but also the lack of towers coming out from Noxious. If they can get down this last tower here for CSW can get down this last tower, it does mean that Noxious are going to have virtually no route to get to this Roshan very quickly, and that kind of looks like what they're doing. I mean, we have seen a constant hero on bot lane just pressuring that lane over and over again. I mean, like we saw just a couple of seconds, or minutes ago, I guess, they initiated on Toons, and even though they didn't get a kill, it really just forces the attention to that bot lane. And I mean, I suppose their ideal is to get this tower down and then just go for the Roshan. And at that point, if they can get the Aegis up onto maybe the Alchemist or up to the Lifestealer, they can just go crazy and blinking in completely and just destroying the whole team fight. Especially if they get a BKB up on the Alchemist. I mean, it looks like he's not going for a BKB pickup just by what he's bought so far, but I think a BKB would absolutely be fantastic because with all the lockdown and nuking damage, if he doesn't you'd have to soak up any of that damage, he's just going to be able to run in and attack everyone with gusto. Kill them all.
Butterfly is complete now on K Phoenix, and right now, is this the time that Noxious should choose to fight right now? They are certainly prepared for it. They do have a butterfly. They do have at least a good amount of damage coming out from them now that K-Phoenix does have this butterfly, or do they want to wait for a bit more of physical damage, maybe wait for another item? Nyx has his Abyssal Blade right now, so CSW, they could go for a push down to tier 2 and try to force Noxious into a fight, and they could really take advantage of it because they do have the initiation coming from Corray, and they do have the sleep that they could use to also initiate coming from Fantasy.
I really don't think Noxious can take a fight at this point. Even with the butterfly up, I think it's going to be better just used as a kind of defensive item, saying, hey, we've got this butterfly if we get initiated on, but on the whole, they're going to be better just to keep trying to get farm up on K-Phoenix and trying to defend this Roshan as much as possible. If they lose the Roshan, obviously, it's going to be pretty hard for them to play, but if they can just keep farming and, you know, get up maybe an MKB or even the Rapier, like you were saying, Satanic Rapier, and this game could be turned around completely in favour of Noxious. And I mean, even if we look at the gold graph, it is in favour of CSW, about 4,000, but again, that's not much. Any experience.
Meanwhile, action on the bottom lane, and Toons is going to get picked up immediately, and then the Muffin Man just appears right out of Corray that blinks in. Elder Titan does take a quick fall. Gyro counter ulti does go off, but hits no one on the back end. Kansei Whips will be able to retreat and possibly push down this lane, but meanwhile Furion is on top lane. He is going to pressure that tier 3 on top, so someone will have to rotate to pick that one up, but which tower do they want to sacrifice? Tier 2 is already low, the tier 3 has not been touched yet, and they possibly don't want it to be touched right at this moment, but what can they decide?
Well, they really can't do anything. They're just backed into a corner. They didn't play the early game aggressively, and this does mean that they're completely forced into using K-Phoenix as that carry. The nuking damage coming out from the Timbersaw hasn't been useless at all, and he hasn't got a Bloodstone out for 31 minutes, which is normally that mark. You know, normally you see a Timbersaw getting a lot of kills and using those kills to get up a really fast Bloodstone, but we haven't seen that at all, and he hasn't had the farm really to be able to do that, so... I mean, even this Timbersaw, who should be the kind of mid-game carry, isn't going to be able to do much, and it's basically all eyes on that Gyrocopter. He needs to farm up some more DPS items, and he needs to be able to help carry the game. But now Aegis going down on the way of the Lifestealer, so he's going to be able to just dive in and really destroy anyone who gets in his way, I suppose. I can't see anyone who can go one-on-one with him without Abyssal Blade up. Elder Titan has respawned, but even so, he can't fight them. Gyrocopter can't fight them. He's going to have to get too close, and he doesn't have enough DPS at the moment anyway. He's only hitting for about 150, I would say, a hit. I mean, with armor reduction, which isn't very much. Now he has got a Demon Edge, but still he needs more like a MKB or something like that to really turn this game around. It's going to be really hard for them, basically. Good luck, Noxious.
Good luck, Noxious. And I really liked what Kansei Whips did right there. After they get the tier 2 down there, it was kind of strange because Noxious, they were kind of indecisive in what they wanted to do. They were all grouped right here on this bottom part of the tower, and actually, excuse me, nope. Looks like the Muffin Man will be able to get away. But at the same time, Furion was pushing the top lane. They lost the bottom tier 2 without doing anything, and they lost half health on their tier 3 tower because no one was up there to rotate, and CSW just took that into advantage and just went immediately into Roshan because it's either tier 3 tower or you lose an Aegis. Pick your poison.
Well, that's the problem when you let through the heroes that they did. When you let through a Nature's Prophet and when you let through heroes like Alchemist and Lifestealer, you're going to have to deal with split pushing. You need to get that early game advantage. It's either going to be you get a huge early game advantage actually on bot lane.
Tones is actually going to get initiated on. He does activate a magic stick. No, it wasn't a mechanism, so it was a fully charged magic stick, and they're probably going to look to go back in. PPX is trying to get vision for a shackle shot. It's not going to land on Corray, but PPX does get sheep, but that's just a defensive sheep to cover away. Dota is going to get missile, but he is going to be able to run away from that, I imagine. Yes, he is going to TP to a top lane, and I'm just going to follow this heat-seeking missile, go conk on him.
So it's quite fun. But yeah, when you're versing something like a Nature's Prophet and this kind of aggressive mid to late game lineup coming from Kansei Whips, they had to take the early game advantage or they're going to get into this kind of stalemate situation where it's going to be a 1v5 situation. They need K-Phoenix to go into that team fight and wreck face. Elder Titan, he can throw out that Astral Spirit image, but well, actually, Muffin Man.
Muffin Man is going to get picked off onto the top lane. They're trying to do enough physical damage. Great shackle shot coming out from Windrunner, but the only thing is he has an Aegis, so he will be able to run away from that. And he does activate his rage and just TP out immediately. They have nothing to bash through that rage, so he'll be just fine.
does make it out okay, but really nice pick off of the Aegis there, and Muffin Man being maybe a little bit cocky, because I feel like they kind of needed that Aegis to really go full aggressive, and now they don't have it anymore, but at least he did make it out, I suppose. That's the upside, but yeah, that Aegis would have been really helpful for kind of pushing the high ground, getting a pick off before taking down the tier 3. But of course, like I was saying, they've got the Aegis Prophet who's going to be continuously pushing in and continuously giving a lot of grief. And now even Nagasaran going for that support Vladimir is offering, so even more lifesteal on that lifestealer. And
Dire's middle
I guess
tower
even
is under attack.
Alchemist is going to have a little bit of regeneration. Not that he needs it, he has gone for that utility build, but I mean, on the whole, CSW looking very, primed to kind of take this game at this point in the game. Poor line. I mean, this is the problem with picking up a line when you don't get early game kills, is 34 minutes into the game, his ultimate has 160-second cooldown. I mean, you really want to hit level 11 as fast as possible, or even level 16 ideally, just so you can spam it out. 40-second cooldown is amazing. So much damage coming out constantly. 850, I mean, that's enough to almost take down the Rubik. He's got 815 health, so a stun and an ultimate, that's probably enough to kill him off, so they really do want to get more levels on this line, but of course they're just relying everything on K Phoenix.
Speaking of Lion, take a look at his skill build. What do you notice that's different from most Lion skill builds that you've seen?
He's gone for max mana drain. I didn't notice that. That's really weird. You would have thought he'd want max hex when they're versing that lifestealer, just to keep the lifestealer locked down a whole bunch more. And I did notice on top lane, I was like, why did he only leave the stun on for half a second before he hexed me? He actually
Going to go in, and actually he's going to get hexed before he is able to blink and get off the stun, but Dota is in a lot of trouble. Gyrocopter ult and TC ult is actually going to go off. A lot of damage going off onto Godot, so he is going to go down. Unstoppable streak is going to go off, and there is a missile that's chasing Correa. He does have blink dagger so that he can run away far from it, but you cannot run away very far from that incoming homing missile, and he is going to be stunned there for quite a while. Will they be able to reach towards him? Echo Stomp does go off, but in the meantime, bottom lane is being pushed by CSW. Furion, does he have buyback? Yes, he does, so he can easily buy back and push in, but nope, they don't want to fight. They're just going to go back and try to just farm some more, farm up more items. Nyx is close to that MKB. He's about one more item off, about 1,500 gold, and once he has the MKB, I believe that's the time when CSW want to push.
Yeah, and actually, Godot probably could have bought out at that point and started pushing quite aggressively, because nobody on Noxious had a TP scroll apart from K Phoenix, and I think he actually went to the side shop to buy that there, so that could have been a really prime opportunity, but I suppose they are playing it quite safe at the moment. They they're playing at risk of Oh
You want bottom line, Correa is going to charge up a stun, and he's going to blink it and get two hero stun. He is going to kill off the Wind Lion and the Wind Ranger, and I believe, was the Lifestealer inside of him? Because he just popped out of nowhere, and it looks like from the Infest cooldown he was inside of him, so two heroes down on the side of Noxious, so it looks like that this is the time that they would want to push into. There are 4 heroes gathered here onto the bottom lane. Furion probably going to go top to see if he can get a bit more gold. Yes, no, yes, no. Yes, he is, but actually they're not going to go for that push on the bottom lane. And it looks like it's because that they noticed that the respawns coming out from the Noxious supports. Tactical, low level to respawn a lot faster just in case we die.
They're really being quite aggressive at this point, and now it looks like so Muffin Man going to be picking up that MKB as his next item, like you were saying, and it is flying out in the courier. So there goes that butterfly from K Phoenix, and that's really going to be giving him a lot of grief. But Satanic actually the next item of choice for K Phoenix, so I do like that item choice. I honestly think he needs it, and I think that does mean he is going to be building a Divine Rapier, because Satanic plus Divine Rapier is potentially a teamfight turnaround if he can outlast that first amount of damage coming out in his head. And this is really going to be, I suppose, a game turning point if he does decide to go for that. If he can get those kills off, but oh my god, it's a Muffin Man. So Muffin Man is coming for you.
Muffin Man does have a haste rune. He is going to go after K Phoenix. No, he's not. He's worried about the rotation coming off. He knows what happened last time. Lion hexed him immediately before he got raged off, and that's how he lost an Aegis and he couldn't get rage off in the first place. But is I really hope this is a Divine Rapier. I like Divine Rapier because it just shows overall boldness. Oh, actually, action on here, onto the top lane. Toons is going to get force staffed right out, and here comes K Phoenix in, but Naga Sleep is going to stop off everything. Echo Stomp is actually going to stop the TP coming away from Rubik. He is not going to be able to get out of this alive. Rubik is going to take a fall, which Naga Sleep was originally meant for, but it looks like Naga actually is carrying 2 gems, and she is in danger. That homing missile is going to chase after that Naga Siren. The thing is, how fast is it going to get there? Are they willing to commit? Looks like Jan force staffs himself forward. They are willing to commit into this Naga Siren, but it looks like it is just way too far for them to push out.
Yeah, all those mobility items with the force staff as well as her high move speed means that she's pretty hard to catch up to. And something else I want to note, just because I noticed it a minute ago, but I keep on fighting, but Jan has got a really eclectic kind of build. Actually, okay, Phoenix.
Okay, Phoenix in the middle lane. Correa is going to just blink stun him and say, hi, taste my chemicals. Actually, the Muffin Man is going to try to initiate onto him, but force staffed away by his teammate Jan. And that's why they picked Force Staff. So if you haven't watched MLG Columbus, Force Staff is basically the MVP of the entire tournament.
That was crazy. Everyone was just force staffing everyone. But oh my god, this Rapier, if he is going for it, he is getting super, super close to it. Oh man, I'm for and against a Rapier, because if he picks up a Rapier and he loses it, it's gonna be game over for his team. There's no other word for it. And he really has to watch out, because Muffin Man does so much damage. Look at Muffin Man, he's just painful. So it could be like throwing the game if he picks up a Rapier, but if he doesn't pick up a Rapier, I don't think they're going to be able to outlast the next couple of team fights. I mean, it feels like Can't Say Whips have just got such an advantage, even though experience-wise it's pretty even. Gold-wise, 7,500, and it really does show, but I think a lot of the gold difference is just on these two supports. In terms of carries, they're all pretty even across the board.
And K Phoenix has also done a good job in managing his BKB charges. It's only 8 seconds. He's activated twice, one of them being on accident in the first place, and there have not been much team fights where he needed to use his BKB, so great job conserving his BKB charges so that he is able to get other items without having to rebuy a BKB as soon as he needed to. But it looks like Hooray. Is he spotted off? Nope. Just pings right there saying that someone might be up there. And indeed it was. Pinged right on top of him. It looks like Hooray is also going to go for an AC. So probably waiting on that item right next. And after they get that AC, it's pushing time.
Yeah, it looks like Hooray is taking the role of that kind of utility tank. Picking up the AC, the mech, the Vanguard. He's just going to be able to run in, and I mean, we might even see him pick up a blade mail once he does get all these items up. I can imagine a blade mail would be super handy, just running in saying hit me, I'm so tank, and popping that blade mail, and everyone's just going to be self-combusting on him. So that could be an option for him if he wanted to go for that. PPX
that could definitely be an option for him, but as the game progresses, he is going to get a lot of gold, and I think he's going to get rid of these items that were cost effective early on but won't be as effective as the game progresses. So we might see him switch out of Vanguard if he does get enough money, of course. We might see him switch out of Vanguard for Heart, and we might see him switch out that mech because it does lose its effectiveness as the game progresses on, especially into the later stages of the game. Sure, it's effective in having a 250 damage heal, but by that time, Gyrocopter is having a Divine Rapier, and 250 heal would only mitigate probably 1/4 of the damage output that's going to come from him if he does get a Divine Rapier in 6 slots.
That is very true. I mean, yeah, really, they could... I mean, any hero can pretty much buy what they want to at this point, because, I mean, for Can't Save Whips, it really depends on if they want to go for that more aggressive push lineup with split pushing, but go to picking up an MKB now looks like he wants to be more helping out in teamfights and taking down this poor Gyrocopter, and I think they suspect that Gyrocopter is picking up that Divine Rapier, and I think that he's just going to have a 5-man group destruction fest, to put it in a PC way. But I mean, with MKB up on Godot, MKB up on the Lifestealer, if K Phoenix get hexed, it's pretty much just going to be GG. But actually, a hex picked up on Jan now, so that could be quite handy for the game. For Noxious, if they can maybe get a hex onto the Lifestealer or Nature's Prophet, who's going to be one of the bigger DPS stealers in the team, that could really be something that can win the team fights for them.
But at the same time, if K Phoenix does get Hex, they do have 3 Force Staffs on the side of their team. And what we saw in MLG Columbus, what we were talking about, if a very important hero like Gyrocopter was initiated on, like he was insta Hex and taking a lot of damage, then Force Staff, you just use multiple Force Staffs onto him, and he is like a rocket jetpack that is out of there in a jiffy, out of danger. So using those Force Staffs is going to be really important for those supports to see if Gyrocopter is in danger. First, Gyrocopter has to be facing the right direction. You want to Force Staff him further into danger away from their team. And it's just going to be important timing coming out from the supports of Noxious.
Well, it definitely is, but I mean, yesterday, for example, I was casting a Cybergamer game, AC and Shiva's got picked up, worth mentioning, and the bottom, she kept on leaping, oh actually on top lane, ooh, it's a Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man actually did use his rage a little bit early. Hex is going to go off onto him, but before the stun is able to go off, Nature's Prophet is up onto the top lane and kills off that line immediately, but the Muffin Man is going to get Abyssal Bladed. Nope, he is going to take a fall. Jan's going to take a fall. Naga Siren Sleep is getting deployed, but now they're on the run. Tunes, they do spot out that Naga Siren. They're going to go after her. The Echo Stomp is on her, but actually the Chakra missed, so Naga Siren is still running away pretty fast. Jan is trying to get in range. He does get in range of that Whirling Death, but he has no more mana, so they cannot chase any further. But meanwhile, middle lane is in a bit of danger. Koda is just being a big pain in the ass to deal with right now, but they do spot out Kyuchi, but Kyuchi has a Blink Dagger and a Force Staff, so he is very mobile in that sense, so he will be able to get away as well.
I'm really waiting for him to pick up this Divine Rapier. Go buy it, K Phoenix. Maybe he was waiting. Just buy it already, man. You're at the Roshan pit. Maybe he's just waiting for the Aegis. But oh, Godot is going to get...
And actually, Godot is going to TP it into the middle of their entire team. Shacklestraw is going to get deployed, and he is going to get sheet. But K Phoenix actually did not pop BKB before the stun was deployed. But Godot is still going to go down, and looks like that CSW do not want to deal with any part of this, but actually, do they want to? Naga Siren sending her illusions in, checking the progress of Roshan. They're not even doing Roshan at this moment because they're afraid, because Nature's Prophet does buy back, and he is back into the fight, and actually PPX does get ensnared and is going to go in, and Nyx is going to go and let off a huge stun onto the Lion. Timbersaw is on low HP, Windrunner's on low HP, they're trying to run away. The Muffin Man's trying to get in, but a great and clutch mechanism coming out, and the Muffin Man is going to go down. 90 seconds left on him, he has no buyback, he won't be able to come back into this fight. This is the time right now for Noxious to take Roshan and to get a huge item up onto that K Phoenix. He does pick up the Divine Rapier. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time right now. In CSW, they do not want to give away this Roshan to K Phoenix, but what can they do about it? They're standing around the Roche pit, checking the progress of it. They notice and they see that it is low, and now they're saying Tria's inside of it, but this just delaying the inevitable. They cannot push into this Roshan. They cannot try to steal the Aegis, but actually no! They are going to be able to, thanks to a very timely Naga Sleep. They snatch the Aegis and are able to get out of there. And what a steal coming from CSW. Godot is going to take a fall, but they don't care. They got an Aegis steal, and right now it is a naked rapier for K Phoenix.
Oh, that is just huge. K Phoenix waited until the last second to buy that rapier. He wanted to ensure he had the Aegis. But that is the problem of trying to take a Roshan when you're versing a Naga Siren. Sleep does not affect Roshan. Even though she cast it half a second late, it didn't matter. She could still just walk in there and pick up that Aegis, and that is just insane. Now, K Phoenix has got that rapier, but it's, like you said, a naked rapier. If he dies, this is going to be probably GG for Noxious. But of course, if they can turn this around, get the racks down, this could be very, very good.
Yeah, at the same time, Varian, he does not have buyback as well. Nyx finally does respawn, and they chose that time to get back. They did not want to risk giving this rapier away and completely throwing this game away as well, so they're just going to take as much farm inside the jungle, probably kill off some of their ancients, and then just back away. Actually, no, are they looking to go back in? TPing in is that Timbersaw, so yeah, they are going to look to go back in. and do as much damage to the middle lane as possible.
Radiant structures
Naga's
are
parked herself
fortified.
off. Sleep is on 30 seconds delay, and actually Rubik is going to get initiated on, but he does have Force Staff, he does have Blink Dagger. Wind Ranger is going to die off, and here comes K Phoenix, here comes Muffin Man. He does infest inside of that Alchemist, but Nyx is going to go down. Alchemist is also, he is on low HP on Dire Straits, but he is going to be able to get out of there. Meanwhile, the Rax is being attacked. Will Noxus go for the GG? A 3-hero stun coming out from the Alchemist, delaying them as much as possible. But once again, Nyx does not have buyback. They're going for the GG. They should go for the GG, but Toons is on such low HP, he has to back off out of there. It looks like it's just going to be mid-racks, and they are going to retreat as Furion does now respawn, and they do not want to risk anymore because they do not know if Nyx has buyback or not.
Oh, the Song of the Sun going off. They're trying to take down K Phoenix. He's got to watch out because if Nature's Prophet TP's under him, he's dead.
And K Phoenix, actually, the Song of Siren, and K Phoenix spots out the Naga Siren, and a great Shackle shot, shackling 2 heroes together. Naga Siren going down, Rubik going down. What a clutch shackle coming from PPX. And will they go back down the middle lane? They're going to go for the GG. This is it right now. They're most likely going for the GG. Both tier 2s are up on the opposite lanes, and they're pinging it. They're pinging the tier 4 towers. They don't want those stinking other Raxes. They're going to most likely go for the GG. Jan is going to go after it. They want that last Rax, of course, for insurance, but they want to do as much damage. At least Naga Siren is going to buy back, but of course she doesn't have sleep up, but that's enough to scare them off, actually. Noxus are going to retreat.
What insanity. And Gyrocopter actually has enough money to buy a second Rapier out if he wanted to now, getting rid of those TPs and just going full Havost mode. And I want him to, but I guess he doesn't want to risk throwing the game. But, I mean, still, what a huge turnaround for Noxus. They were really on the backside, but, I mean, now you can see Gold 0 experience very much in favour of Noxus, and this is kind of the power of having a Gyrocopter. And while I feel like they played the early game not very well, they really did turn it around. They turtled long enough, and Kansai Whips just... Honestly, they made a lot of mistakes and kind of, I don't know, I feel like they threw it a tiny bit because they did kept on TPing in and getting picked off when they should have been pushing and putting a lot of pressure on so the Gyrocopter couldn't farm, but I mean still really, really well played by Noxus. Now Boots Travel picked up the Gyrocopter, so he's got that item slot ready to go for 6 items decked out fully, and I wonder what he's going to buy. Maybe a new BKB, because it is down to 6 seconds, but I hope a second Rapier.
Yeah, and the only problem is that CSW, they have been letting this Gyrocopter. They're probably underestimating how strong Gyrocopter with Flak Cannon and a Divine Rapier, how much damage he can do, because they're going on other heroes into the fight. They're going on heroes like that Elder Titan that is very annoying, yes, of course, but he's not doing enough, as much damage, close to enough damage, as what Gyrocopter is doing. So Gyrocopter is just standing in the middle of their fights. The last 2 fights that they had, he just stood there and used all of his Flak Cannon charges on most of their heroes, and they just died so quickly, especially that Nyx. The Rage does not protect you from physical form of damage.
Now it shall be there.
Yeah, and actually it's worth noting that Lifesteal's items haven't progressed at all in the past, I guess, 15 minutes or so. He picked up that Abyssal Blade Armlet quite early. The MKB came a fair while ago as well, but he just keeps getting picked off every team fight. He's dying first, he never has buyout, and his items just haven't progressed. And when you consider how the Gyrocopter's items have progressed, and he has to go one-on-one against him, I mean, they have got the Nature's Prophet, and oh, Nature's Prophet, look what he is doing.
He is pushing off onto the top lane.
He's stolen this creep. He's going to send it into the base so he can backdoor.
Backdoor, but the thing is, are they going to contest it? And K Phoenix, he actually does not go for the second Divine, not even the new BKB, he goes for a Harder to Rask, and I like this item a lot actually. Harder to Rask gives him a ton load of HP, so even if they do go on him, even if they do Abyssal Blade him, even if they do disable him, he is going to be a huge problem to try to kill because he has just that much HP. Look, he even kills off a Necronomicon creep, tanks the damage and says, you know what, I'm just going to regen back to full.
It is a very, very good item on him at this point of this game because it really means that he's going to be virtually unkillable. Even if they do get him quite low, he can just pop the Satanic. Even if they get him quite low again, he can just juke his way out of the team fight, pop that BKB, regenerate, and come back in and deal a whole bunch more damage. So I really do like that pickup, and I think I mean, at this point, Noxious could just kind of barrel down mid and probably get that throne if they wanted to, but I guess they're playing a little bit more carefully, and I guess they are aware that, of course, Nature's Prophet could split push. Alchemist, I think he's going to be picking up Boots of Travel quite soon, so he can rotate in and help out with the split pushing as well.
Yeah, and what they want to do is before they want to push down that middle lane, they want to push out the outer lanes far enough so that if Furion does TP into the other lanes, that he doesn't get like a Rax or something, or possibly backdoor into the throne himself, or a throne race, probably TP nakes him around him, summons some treants, and they all buy Boots of Travel and just have a full-on base race. But looks like they are going to go S5 into the top lane, and so they're not going to go straight for the throne. They're going to take it piece by piece, and I agree with this choice. Going for the throne is only viable if at least 3 heroes are down for Constant Wisp. But once they have all of them, they don't want to risk the fact that there is still a Furion on the map that is able to split push. And actually, Furion is going to pick up Helm of the Dominator now. He has 6.7k gold, so he has a crap load of gold that... What is he going to use with this gold? He could upgrade into a Satanic himself, but I don't agree with this. He does not want to fight. He wants to go for full-on split push, so I think the Desolator would be a bigger choice right here. And actually, mid lane, Muffin is going to take a lot of damage. He does get hexed up. Correa activates the mech in time, but that is useless at this stage of the game. You are just taking too much damage. Correa is going to go down, and that is 2 heroes. Meanwhile, Furion is backdooring into the base. He will be able to get a Rex. Alchemist buys back into the game. Tunes does get picked up. No, he is not get picked off. He stopped, but Godot is trying to hide from the rest of his team. It looks like he will be able to TP away safely. He does get a melee Rax at the top lane. So Correa does buy back, and right now there's a Gyrocopter mid lane pushing down, but just decides to go into his jungle because none of his teammates are near.
Well, that's really the kind of saving grace of the lineup of Kansai Whips at the moment, is they've got Rat Dota galore, and this Nature's Prophet, I mean, they really want to get down this last tier 2 tower, but it's on 33 health. I can imagine it's going to be falling fairly soon, and once that is down, Nature's Prophet can really backdoor, and Noxious have to watch out because they can't commit, and that's what I was saying. They pick up the Helm of the Dominator means that all Furion has to do is TP to a lane and dominate one of the enemy creeps. I think it is, or one of his own creeps. It's one of the two. But either way, if he dominates a creep and hides it in the base somewhere, backdoor protection will be turned off. So that's all he needs to do, is to make sure he can backdoor, is get a creep into the base, Helm of the Dominator, it doesn't matter if it's his or not, and he can just backdoor all day. So I think that's why they've really just sacrificed everything to get this mid tower. I'm sure they didn't want to die, but getting down this mid tower does mean that all these 3 Raxes can fall potentially to the split pushing coming out from the Nature's Prophet.
Meanwhile, Roshan is being killed off right now, and looks like that they won't be able to pull that. Kansai Wisp can't be able to pull off the magic that they were able to pull in that last Aegis steal, and they're going to give the Aegis to Windrunner and the cheese as well to Windrunner, so they're choosing to let the Windrunner have a chance at a second life. And wow, Jan did have an IM slot open, and I think the Timbersaw should have been the IM of choice, but look at Furion right now into the top lane. He is pushing into their base. They're not even at the base of their base right now. So Noxious, if they want to go and base race, they need to barrel down the mid tower right now. They cannot wait and just have their entire base destroyed. And Jan does TP back, but actually he doesn't TP back. He is doing the smart move, and actually Godot is going to go onto him. He hexes him up. He's going to try to kill him off, but that is just too much damage for you to go through. And actually Godot might be in a little bit of danger right here. Jan, he does still have that hex to disable the Prophet, but now he activates the Necronomicon. He cannot deal with any of this. Meanwhile, bottom tower is being pushed. Correa actually blinks in and tries to stun off the Gyrocopter and baits off a BKB charge. This is actually semi-huge, but Move 6 is going to go in. He is going to stun off and kill off the Naga Siren immediately before she can activate the sleep. But K-Phoenix is actually going to go down. He drops the Rapier. The Rapier is on the ground. Godot will pick it up as the Divine Rapier. K-Phoenix buys back into the game, and actually he has money for another Rapier. Oh my goodness, he is just 100 gold off of buying back, but he is not worried about that right now. PPX is on low HP. Correa is going to blink in and actually stun off Jan. Jan is going to go up. Correa does get a nice shackle shot and actually is going to get up. Oh, no, he does not get an echo stop off. It is not going to stun him. K-Phoenix is in danger again. He's going to die twice. That is 123 seconds. Naga Siren trying to cancel off any TPs or any further movement coming out from Noxious, but it looks like that she won't be able to at this moment. PPX will be able to TP out, and Lion's going to be able to TP out, but the huge thing, K-Phoenix lost his Rapier, bought back, died again. He is down for a very, very long time.
And Nature's Prophet with a Rapier Desolator MKB. He hits like a truck. It is just so much damage.
And there is actually a double damage rune at the bottom lane
God,
of the river.
yes,
If he sees this, then Windrunner, say goodbye to your HP because he is one-shotting you. Same thing for actually Lion's only sitting at 900 HP, so that is definitely a one-shot. But they're not bothering to check for lucky runes. Let's see if it's the DD. They're just gonna go charge straight into the base while Gyrocopter is down, and there is absolutely nothing that Noxious can do about this. And losing that Rapier is absolutely huge at this point in the game. But at the same time, Nature's Prophet, he is pretty low on HP, so if they are able to, he is killable. He is killable, but the only problem is, can they kill him before he kills them?
Bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, I don't.
Come, come.
I don't even know what just happened, but I think this is gonna be GG.
They are going to push, and they are going to get the bottom range racks, but they still have 30 seconds to kill off the mid lane, and actually getting an Echo Stomp off onto Godot, and Godot is actually revealed off. Is Godot going to go down? He is caught by himself, and he is trying to team. He is not going to get away. Rapier is dropped onto the ground. Who has got the Rapier? It is actually Jan on that Timber Saw that has the Rapier. That Chainsaw is now a very lethal Chainsaw right now. And are they looking to save this? And actually Godot buys back into the game. He is mad. He wants that Rapier back. Windrunner does go down, but she does have an Aegis. And they're actually fountain diving into the enemy base. And I don't agree with this. Corray is just tanking the entire fountain. The Muffin Man is also tanking. And now Naga Siren activates the sleep to try and bail her teammates out. They wanted that Rapier back. But Godot, you are not able to get it, sir. You have been denied. Actually, Naga Siren did not TP out herself. She sacrifices herself. Actually, she didn't have a TP scroll, so kind of questioning why she didn't TP out there. But what is going on in this game?
This is hilarious. Alright, so Kansei Whips had the Rapier, but they decided, who cares? Let's push. Godot got picked off, and then he didn't TP back in. Did he TP back in?
He did TP back in and, actually fought them into the base.
But like why did they even fountain dive? Like, question mark, question mark. I know it's 60 minutes into the game, but like the game wasn't over then, and now they've got that Rapier back up in the Gyrocopter. Well, he's got a second Rapier coming out quite soon. Jan's got a Rapier as well, I think, though he might pass it back to the Gyrocopter. I mean, this game, a second ago I was going to say sure win for Kansei Whips after K Phoenix lost that Rapier, but now, maybe this is going to be a
Rapier coming. That is a brand new Rapier coming for Gyrocopter, and he is a very happy camper right now. And right now, Godot, look at his items. He does not have any split pushing items. He went all in on the damage. He sold his Necro Book. He sold his boots, and instead of the Black King Bar, he had the Rapier there to try to do as much damage to these towers, because he says, hey, no one can kill me, but if you get picked off like that, doesn't matter if you're invis with that Shadow Blade. They did get a nice dust, great support play, by the way, coming out from the side of Noxious, being able to dust off that Furion before he TP'd away. And right now, Furion cannot make up his mind. He decided to sell off his Helmet of Dominator and buys off. Did he buy it off, or did he actually place it onto the courier?
He might have put it on the courier? No, I think maybe he sold it. He's just selling items like crazy, isn't he?
He is very indecisive in what he wants. I don't need boots. I am just going to go barefoot into this game. I have TP, and I can TP anywhere anyways. Cannot be stopped.
Oh, this is just, it's just, I'm still laughing about the fountain dive. Oh my god. This is classic. But I mean, this is either team's game at this point. There's 2 Rapiers on the side of Noxious, which gives them insane amounts of damage. And if they can, you know, win a team fight, they should be able to go straight through them. But it's the same thing. If Kansei Whips win a team fight, you know what? They're going to be able to steal 2 Rapiers and go for the throne. And nobody has buyout apart from the Alchemist. That means that if anyone dies, they are pretty much dead until game is over, most likely. Unless both teams just turtle. But either way, man, this game is just crazy. I just can't believe that. That's hilarious.
I will just absolutely just like throw my headset across the room if Jan does decide to suicide with his Bloodstone charge and have like K Phoenix probably sell his heart so that he can claim the rapier for himself, and then Jan just responds almost immediately. But I don't think they're going to risk that. But at the same time, a very crazy series of events that took place, of course, on the Fountain Dive, and really, they had the game won right here. Look at these tier 4 towers, 44 HP, full HP, but they could have killed that tower like in probably 5 seconds with the damage that they did have at the time when they did have the rapier. But now, it is going to be a bit harder because not only do they have one rapier on one hero, they have two rapiers on. They have one rapier on two heroes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, because Timbersaw is fairly unkillable at this point. I mean, he's quite tanky, and of course he's got those Bloodstone charges and the AC and the Hex. I mean, he's quite unkillable. And same with the Gyrocopter, who's got up that hard. I mean, we did see last team fight, the Lifestealer just absolutely ripped him apart, but usually you'd be kind of relying on the Lion to Hex up that Lifestealer and kind of keep him underlocked. You know, lock and key, so he can't really destroy everyone, but God, this game could go either way. I guess the good thing though is if Jan is standing next to K Phoenix and Jan dies, and K Phoenix can just, I don't know, pick up the other rapier, drop the heart or something, boots travel.
I think he'll just drop off the boots of travel, because if Jan dies, then it's probably in the middle of a team fight, and he wants to pick up that rapier immediately and do as much damage as he can as sort of like a last hurrah. Because who needs boots in this game, really? It is 60 minutes in. We're creating the boot stage of the game. The first 60 minutes, just done. The rest, anything after that, you're just gonna buy countless amount of rapiers to see which team does come out on top of the damage chart and which team is going to kill each other first. And it's just a field of rapiers, sort of like the field that you see in Dire Tide. I feel like this is just a big pub game.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. It kind of feels like a Russian pub game, honestly, at this point. But no, I mean, both of these honestly, these teams are some of the best in Australia. I guess they got a little bit kind of kill hungry for a moment there, but I mean, usually they do have some very standard. Well, sorry, not standard. Some very strong plays. But Necrobook 3 picked up again on Godot. Maybe he dropped it on the ground somewhere because he only had about 3k gold. Maybe he has it on crew. No, I don't know. He must be hiding items around the map so he can just TP and pick them up and drop it down. But either way, I mean, Godot is just waiting, because if Noxus commit to a put, Godot is going to backdoor and get this these mega creeps. So Noxus are kind of forced into this situation where they've only got one lane raxed, whereas they've got two lane raxed on them. So they have to really watch out, because if they do go for a push, actually, Godot with a Lifestealer baby inside of him.
Lifestealer baby and trying to find off that Windrunner, but just a 6th sense, and actually a great ward placement coming out from Noxus. This ward placement spotted out the Fury, and he actually TP'd right here and revealing himself, and actually Muffin Man's in total danger. That is a lot of damage coming out from Timbersaw and K Phoenix. You cannot eat heroes, two heroes that both have rapiers damage and think to survive after that. So the Muffin Man is down for 80 seconds, and this might signal the push that is going to go straight down to the mid lane. Is this finally the GG throne push? 62 minutes into this game right now.
Well, Lifestealer has got buyout though, that's the thing worth mentioning. He's the only one who's managed to farm up buyback other than the Alchemist who already had it, so I don't know, but I mean, I guess having the Rapier on Jan is quite good, as he can defend these lanes fairly easily, and then he's got those bits of travel to join the team fight, but they really need to kind of push these lanes out to this point, or else Godot is going to backdoor very, very easily, and Jan just doesn't seem to be doing that. He's doing his best, but he's not pushing them out hard enough, and you can just see Kirei as well as Kyuchi just waiting in the bushes there to take it, to take that throne, to take those mega creeps.
At the same time, look at the tier 4 towers. One's very low HP and one's very high HP, and the other one on the Dire side is full HP. But no, they're just going to backdoor into the racks, and why not? And actually, Kyuchi's going to go in, and actually, they're going to stun off K Phoenix before the fight even starts. Is he going to lose that Rapier once again? He activates BKB, but no, he gets a pistol bladed. K Phoenix is going to go down. Another Rapier is on the ground. Kirei is actually going to die off on the damage that is coming from Jan, who has got that second Rapier. I'm clicking and clicking, and it's actually the Muffin Man. Oh my goodness. He is doing 800 damage per hit with that Rapier on deck. And actually, K Phoenix bought back once again, but he is taking so much damage. Rubik is going to go down. K Phoenix, he actually gets 4-staffed away at the last second. Jan gets 4-staffed away. Tunes is activating Ghost Sensor, but that's only temporarily. He's going to take a fall. And meanwhile, PPX is going to take a fall, as well as A lot of damage is getting put forth, and meanwhile, Baron is going to TP into the dire base. Noxious, they do not have an answer for this. They are going to buy back on the Elder Tide, on the Wind Ranger. They are going to activate the Sheep Stick. Goda is going to get killed off inside of the base. Does he have buyback? Does he have buyout? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He does have buyout. He does have buyout if he wants it.
But
I don't know if they want to risk it because all of their heroes are up, and K Phoenix, he is getting chased after by Kirei, but he does get the stun off, but they don't want to risk going into the dire base. And they are going to TP away because actually, Jaina is going to go for the throne on the Radiant side. It is an absolute base race. He is trying to kite them as much as possible. He does get Abyssal Bladed up, but the throne is going to possibly go down. Naga Sleep is going to go off, but that is not going to stop off the back siege unit. It is taking too much damage. It is a win for Noxious Gaming in a crazy finish. Back and forth. We did not know who was going to win, but Jan, in the end, was the one that made the play. He saw the opportunity, he went for the throne, and that is Game 1 victory going to Noxious Gaming.
That was just an insane game. That was awesome. I'm so glad I got to cast that. GG well played to both teams. This is of course a best of 3, so we've got 1, if not 2 more games coming up. Thank you, of course, to Sound Blaster for sponsoring this tournament. Thank you to Cybergamer for hosting it and Dota Talk for allowing us to cast this. And thanks for co-casting Gangster Dota. And we'll see you guys in next game. That was insane.
If we have more games like this, then I want to do this every single day.